Hi, everybody. Hassan Shariq, back with our weekly live session, which uh, is now branded as Immigration Buzz. Joining me is Adnan from Alberta. Adnan, over to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, perfectly okay. Very beautiful morning in Calgary. Yeah, enjoying my day.
Yeah, yeah. And how long after this are you expecting the cold weather to start
You
in?
know, the weather start changing now, so we are looking maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then the weather is like that. We cannot do any outdoor stuff or picnics, and that is the end. And after that, it's a routine our winter period, which is going to start from November and up to April end, I would say.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty warm here in Toronto as well. We didn't expect August to be that warm, but we have I think 2 more months compared with you in terms of not having the snow. That's how it is. That's the beauty of Canada. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So starting off today again, we look for questions, comments coming from all our viewers. We changed the time this time around for the reason we thought that maybe this time would suit a lot of people, our general target audience. But if people think that some other time works well for them, we're happy to sort of adjust that.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so today, what we'll do is that, as discussed in our first episode, we are going to run you through the whole system of Canadian immigration and then the life that immigrants have. So, beginning today, what we are going to do is that we are going to start talking about the overall immigration framework that Canada has. And to begin that, I'll hand it over to Adnan, who is going to give us a quick overview as to what are the different categories under Canadian immigration.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I would share my screen as well because I think that will help the viewers to understand what we are going to talk about here. So, uh, Sharik, just confirm me if you see my screen. Yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
think
I can see it.
so. As you can see, there are three broad categories for Canadian immigration, and you can see the color combination. It start from green, it it go to orange, and then go to red color. So the reason behind it, the temporary residents, which include visitor, students, and worker, this is actually a green signal for you to start your journey to finally become a Canadian citizen. And once the temporary residence is achieved, the next stage is the permanent residence. Of course, there is a way how you can change your status from temporary residence to permanent residence. And the three main classes are included here: family class, economic, and business. And once you complete the formalities under permanent residence, of course, the a number of days which you need to fulfill in this particular uh, class, and then you will move to the final destination of citizenship. And of course, you will get your Canadian passport. The usual journey, if I would say, just as a number of years, if I just measure it in the timeline, if you start from temporary resident, from student, and reaching to citizenship would be around, say, 6 years of time, 6 7 years. But if you are directly starting for permanent residence to citizenship, so including the processing and all that stuff, say 4 years plus minus, you will get your citizenship passport, finally the Canadian one. So yeah, these are the three main broad categories. Of course, we will go in detail in our new episodes, that what are the details of each class, what are the requirements, what you can do to avail the status which suits your particular profile. But at this moment, this is a very high level idea, what it actually constitutes in a very shorter way. Hassan, please go ahead if you want to add something.
Yeah, thanks for giving that brief, and that should give an overall idea. So, generally, we tend to see that people get confused as to the different categories or different classes that are there. So keep in mind that Canada, the overall immigration system, the term immigration is usually a little confusing. Some people think that's about getting visa. Some people think about it take the meaning as settlement. And this particular slide that Adnan shared with you breaks the different applications, programs, categories that are there. So a lot of applicants are looking at studies in Canada. So that's temporary migration. Keep in mind that any kind of visa where you are required to return back. I'm really sorry. I think there's an echo. We'll work on that next episode. But Adnan, is it fine or is it a bit of too much of a bother?
I think we can live with that, but yeah, from next time, I think if you can change your stereo little bit, like in a
Yeah,
mic shape, so yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
would help.
So just sorry for that, folks. This time around, this will be sorted next time around. So there are options for people who would want to move to Canada on a temporary basis. That's where if you see the temporary residence. So this is if you want to study in Canada. So the expectation is that you complete your studies in Canada and then you are supposed to go back to your country of residence or country of origin. Um, a lot of people ask about work permits. Work permit is a similar immigration stream as well, where you are employed by an employer, and or in some instances there are open work permits as well. But you are expected to have an end period and expected to move out of Canada at the end of the validity date of that. So these are temporary residents. And then there's various categories which are permanent residents where you don't have where you're not expected to leave Canada at the end of that particular visa. Rather, you're allowed to stay in Canada permanently, do whatever kind of work. Within this, there are broad categories. A lot of people that we tend to see on our platforms are usually skilled migrants who have a few years of work experience. And that's where they're looking at PR. Express Entry is a well known name. There's a lot of people from around the world who invest in Canada, accomplished businessmen, and there's a category for that. And another confusion that people have is that what is the difference between a permanent residence and becoming a national or citizen? So with citizenship, what happens is that you get this status where then even if you don't want to stay in Canada or go live somewhere else, you have all the rights. So this is a broad overview. Adnan, anything else that probably I would have missed or
No, actually, it's a very very broad fields. Maybe it needs maybe 10 minutes each to cover that, like the visitor, student, and worker, maybe more. But at this point of time, I think the explanation is suffice. So I think it's okay.
yeah,
But yeah, there is one thing which people sometimes maybe they got confused or they have no idea. That is about the dual intent LMIA, or what we call it, labor market impact assessment report, which is related with the worker category. So some people, once if they got a job offer, for example, in Canada, they have two ways of landing into Canada. One is they can get their worker permit and just land here. The other way is they can claim the points if they have a profile in Express Entry already, and they claim that points, 50 points, they can get on CRS right away. If they can qualify for any draw, FSW or CEC, so they can actually land as a permanent resident as well. So this is a bit tricky thing here, but of course, so many details associated with each program, which we will cover later. So Hassan, I think we start getting some questions as well.
yeah,
So you can take the first one.
perfect. So this question is by it says Mahad Khan. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I've done software engineering and furthermore I want to apply for commercial pilot course. Uh, Mahad, that's still a very vague question. Yeah, I believe what you wanted to say that you've already done software engineering, like probably a bachelor's degree, and you would want to do uh, commercial flying course in Canada. Um, Definitely a possibility you could do. There are private training courses available here in Canada. Uh, do keep in mind that it might not be all that easy to secure a visa for this. because if you're changing your stream, and these are very technical courses, if you're changing your stream from your previous education or work experience, then you have to provide justification. You can definitely do it. I don't feel that there is any issue doing changing a field like this. What do you think, Adnan?
This commercial pilot flying, this question I got a lot of time. The thing is, this is very expensive route to take in Canada, especially because accumulating the flying hours is very costly. I know a few of the institutes in Alberta who actually deal with this licensing requirements and all that. It is available. I saw local people, even like at my age at this point of time, if I want to enroll myself into this particular course, I can go with that. The thing is, the licensing requirements are very strict in Canada, very strict. And secondly, it's a very expensive uh, thing to take. Like what I know, I think the hourly charge was around $1,000 to $1,500 in between, because that includes the trainer, that includes the jet which they are going to use, and that is equivalent to one flying hour, like as per the training. So yeah, people take it. It is one of the thing in their bucket list, which I heard. So yeah, it's possible though.
Yeah.
The second question, let me take that, Hassan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's coming from Mohammed El Shaniti. So again, our apology if we are pronouncing name wrong. Is the IRCC gonna cancel the FSW program? All right. So Hassan, first you, and then I will give my feedback on that. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
My take, no, and we did talk about this in our previous episode as well. There are delays in the sense that they've not done an FSWP draw, so they're not going to cancel that. Yes, there might be some changes. There is some news going on that they've actually allocated some budget to make the express entry system more aligned with job market requirements, labor market requirements. So that's a possibility, but they're not going to cancel it. Keep in mind that right now, because of the COVID situation, there are processing delays. A lot of COPR holders for about a year were not able to enter in Canada. So there was a backlog, and that was the reason that they put it on a hold, because they don't really want to have applications in and then not able to process in time. So that's my take.
Yeah,
Adnan?
Hassan, I'm echoing your opinion on that. But one thing is, as you know, that CEC backlog has been cleared along the Canadian Experience class. So, as per the federal government promise, they want to bring 400,000 people this year. So, from where they are going to get the people, they are going to get into FSW stream. And that is the reason I always advise everyone, just enter your profile in Express Entry and wait and watch, because the hopes are it's going to start very soon. And once it does, there will not be enough applicants based on the number which government already announced. And the possibility is, yes, in the beginning, the score will go high, but afterwards the score will drop. So yeah, maximize your chances, do submit your profile and stay in the game.
Yeah.
All right, let's take the next question, Hassan. It's from Daud Jat. What is the difference between PR family class and economic class? Hassan, you can go on that. I know there is a lot to share on it.
Daud, there's a lot to share on this, but as earlier mentioned, so economic class is basically where Canada attracts skilled migrants, professionals who have a certain level of education, qualification. They're from a specific profession, and attracts them to move to Canada. So just as our good friend Mohammed was asking about the FSWP program, this is an economic class where people who have certain years of education, certain years of work experience, good language ability, they're assessed on on a point scale. If they meet the point threshold, they're invited to apply for permanent residence. They move to Canada as PR. The family class, a lot of people confuse it. A lot of people think that if they are married and they're the main applicant, having their family move to Canada may be the family class. Family class is different. Family class is where a Canadian citizen or permanent resident who's based in Canada, and in some cases who's based outside of Canada, can sponsor eligible relatives. So, just giving you an example, a simple example, again, not going into details, that if somebody is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident and they're based in Canada and they get married to somebody who's outside of Canada, and they sponsor their spouse, that's family class immigration. So it's not skill migration as such. So that's the major difference.
That's correct, Hassan. So basically, if we just summarize, so when we talk about economic class, there are three main categories, which we say one is the Canadian experience class, which applies to the people who are already inside Canada and they avail this particular stream. Federal skilled worker is the second one, which is very famous overseas, like people apply from there. And the third one is federal skilled trade class, which is applied to the people who have skills related with like carpenter, plumber, electrician, like that trades. So that fall into the third category. So these are basically on a broader side. The economic class, family class, as Hassan mentioned, based on if you have a family, like you are here, you want to sponsor your spouse, grandparents, parents, like these kind of sponsorship is fall under family PR, because people under this particular stream get their permanent residency right away because of their connection with the person who is already inside Canada. So that is a small difference between the two. All right, so Hassan, you go ahead, take the next question.
So next it is Asif, and Asif is asking, what is the minimum points required for Canada immigration? Okay, now this is a common question as well. Asif, as already mentioned, and the reason that we showed that slide, and we'll take this sequentially, is that there are dozens of different streams under Canadian immigration, and the point-based system that you're talking about, that usually refers to the economic immigration, and there's a large number of streams. Each stream has its own requirements, its own points grid system, so it is difficult to say that what is minimum points required. Um, uh, Generally, these days, Express Entry is a program which is well known to people around the world, and that's what they think is the only program. For this, there are certain minimum requirements. We'll talk in detail, but generally, you must have equal to a high school education, at least 1 year of work experience. There is a list of professions which we call as the knock list. You must have at least 1 year of experience in that. So if you can, if you would want, what you can do is that in the comment section later on, you can put in your details, and we'll try and provide you some feedback as to which program maybe you can fit in, and then we can discuss as to what is the minimum points required for that program. Adnan?
Yeah, Hassan, thank you. And just in extension to what you said, the first thing you can do is, like, if you really want to know what is the minimum points requirement and you are a person who is outside Canada, just check your federal skilled worker class points. If you are scoring 67 points, then you are good to proceed with submission of express entry profile. But if your points are less than 67, you cannot proceed with the further submission of express entry. So yeah, if you just talk about number on particular federal skilled worker program, then 67 is the answer.
Yeah.
All right. I think, yeah, that is the common question we are getting as a lot. Like, the people want to know. The thing is, the system has changed since express entry came up. It's a different game now. Before, people who just qualified under federal skilled worker, they submit their application, and it was first come first serve basis, the treatment. But now it has changed a lot. Now people have to qualify first on a federal skilled worker, then they are applicable to go for an express entry. And even in express entry, there is no first come first serve criteria. It's a draw system. So it's basically trying your luck to wherever maximum you can. And this is what it's going to happen. So yeah, maximize your chances, submit your profile in express entry, stay in the loop. Government has introduced a lot number which they want to reach. stay tuned on that. The score might go up in the beginning, but it will go down, hopefully. So yeah, just do what you can do at this time.
Yeah.
Hassan, I think we are reaching to our time limit as well. So I will give it over to you to wrap up and to see how you're gonna proceed with it.
Yeah, thank you, Adnan. Good bit of points discussed today. One thing that we have been emphasizing in the previous episode, this as well, is that do ask questions. The whole purpose of this sitting that we've started, Adnan and myself, we are both licensed Canadian immigration consultants, so RCICs based here in Canada. We offer our services. The purpose is with this, you ask questions and we'll answer, and that will help. Like if you ask question and we answer that, that will help 10 other folks who are interested in Canadian immigration. And it becomes very difficult at times to provide this kind of information. There's a lot of general information. Ask questions, we'll provide specific answers. If you see this video later on, put your questions in the comment section.
We can take Hassan. There's so many questions coming
Yeah,
up. So if you want to go ahead, I'm good for next 5-10 minutes.
let's take the questions so that people get answered.
Yeah.
So Adnan, your turn now.
Okay. So the next question is from Sandeep. How long it will take for PPR for FSW applicants? Still waiting since August 2020 ITA. As per GCMS, security is pending. So Hassan, you want to answer that or let me take it?
You answer that. I'll add in at the end. Yeah.
Okay, so when it says that security is pending on the GCMS notes, if people they don't know about GCMS, so this is basically the information on your file which you can request the Canadian government to release it. As per the law, they are obligated to provide you these notes. So Sandeep, he applied for those, and it is says security is pending, which means that your file is still under process. The officer has not decide on your particular file, so it can take longer sometime for security clearance. Sometimes it takes a little bit less time. It varies from one profile to another profile. So yeah, you can hold on to that and wait for the further instructions from the visa officer. They might request you for maybe police clearance certificate. They might request you for a fingerprint report. So wait is the key right now. And due to COVID, we are seeing delays, but don't lose hope. The things are under process.
Yeah, I'll just add, as Nan mentioned, with security, and keep in mind that if you have the GCMS notes, there's criminality and there's security. So criminality is more to do with your police, and security is actually something that is beyond IRCC's scope. It is done by some other federal Canadian security agencies. So sometimes it might just be a week more where they get the report and it's finalized, and it might take more time. And this is the case with a lot of FSWP applicants who are waiting for the final decision, and it's only security which is pending. So as long as you are in the process, just stay positive. Hopefully soon. And I can just share that last couple of weeks, I've myself known a few applications which have been finalized. So this is a good indication that some FSWP applicants are being finalized. Yeah.
Awesome. So Hassan, go ahead, and the next question. Yeah.
Muzammil, that seems like a long question. My question is to Adnan bhai. It's actually for you, Adnan, so I'll send it to you.
Okay, so what do you suggest before migration to Canada? Should we visit Canada on a visit visa? What you suggest? As if coming from Middle East, don't you think it will be a tough to settle? So Muzammil, the thing is, challenge yourself, buddy. Don't get like in a loop of shyness or something, or maybe you are frightened of getting a cultural shock. We all landed here like blindly. I know about Hassan and myself. So we just landed here and we settled, and very well settled. People are very nice here. I'm telling you, you will not feel that particular problem. And especially if you have connections with few of the friend and family members, and even if they don't have it, you can connect with us. We are here to help you. So if you want to come on a visit visa, just for fun and to see how Canada is, yeah, that's a different thing. But if the cultural shock is just a problem, then don't worry about that. Canada is a very welcoming country. So open to you, like whatever you you want to proceed with. But I think I answer this in both ways.
Yeah, I'll just add that if you come on a visit visa, you might only be able to see the place and do that. The actual struggle or journey that's only once you land. Once you start that, okay, now I have to look for jobs and all of that. So don't worry. Canada is a country of immigrants from all around the world. Um, Once you're able to get your immigration done, just do some preparation, ask around your friends, your acquaintances, your former colleagues, and even by the government. There's a lot of support for new immigrants because that's how the system in society is. So just come with high hopes, a positive approach, and everything will be fine.
Awesome. Next question.
Bilal. Um, Hello, dear. I have more than 19 years experience in woodworking field. I have 3.5 years diploma. Can I apply for Canada?
Hassan, there is a contingent question also in the next one. So if I think from Bilal.
Yeah. And Bilal says that I am working in Saudi Arabia from 2006. Main question is that I don't have mark sheet. Can I apply for permanent residency of Canada? Please explain. Adnan, I'll try and give it a shot. So Bilal, if you are in the profession of woodworking, that comes under the trades professions category. There is opportunity for trades professions, but keep in mind that most of the programs, all the trade professions, and I'll just give an example for audience's general understanding. Professions such as woodworking, plumbing, electricians, mechanics, these are all called as trade professions. And these are all licensed and regulated professions here in Canada. Usually it is the provincial government which licenses it. So each province will have its own licensing. So to practice in these professions, you generally are required to have a license. Normally, for the trade streams, there is a federal government stream, and then there are streams by each province. Uh, there are two major requirements. Like you have to fulfill one of these two. Either you must have a job offer from a Canadian employer. Like if there's a company which hires woodworkers here in Canada somewhere, if you're able to get a job offer, then you'll be eligible, or you need to have a certificate or qualification in that trade from a Canadian province. Now, in some instances, you have to study in Canada for that, or maybe if you have a trade license or qualification from outside of Canada, there are opportunities to have that converted. So if you meet one of these two requirements, having a job offer by a Canadian employer or having a qualification certificate, only in that case you're eligible to apply for the trades category. Adnan?
Yes, I think just a little bit more info on that, Bilal. It needs a little bit more detailed assessment to see which field in woodworking you are working. Like you are on the machines, you are as an operator, or you are as a coordinator, like you are working as a foreman. It depends like which category you are. But yeah, the trade program which Hassan mentioned is one of the thing. If you are actually a person doing work by hand on the woodworks, like on the machines. Also, I will advise you to check the Manitoba province. There is a municipal program. It's called Modern, Mordern. So if you check that, they were looking for people in woodworking field. A couple of months ago, I checked for one of my clients. So look into there, and then maybe it's gonna help. I think Bilal, he posted another comment on that, and he's telling he's in woodworking designing. So basically that will not fall into the trade program, Hassan, because now this designing comes into like their AutoCAD or other softwares they use. I think particularly in that field. So that is actually technical skills which will fall under economic class. And if we fall into economic class further skilled worker program, because Bilal is in outside Canada, then you need to meet the requirements of this particular program, and you need to meet 67 points to proceed further on that. So make sure you have that all the requirements conditions met before you look forward on this particular stream. Yes, Hassan, I think we went over, but we are fine. We answered questions for people. So I think we can wrap up, and in the next episode, we will take further questions and we'll try to answer them in detail.
Yeah, and for those of you, any of you who would want to connect with us, on the screen you see it's felkis.com and sharikimmigration.com. You can just go in there, and there are links for contacting us, booking an appointment with us, or getting more information. So feel free, and even if you have further questions, post them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer. So that's all for today's session. Really great talking to all of you, answering your questions. Stay safe, stay blessed wherever you are, and we'll see you next week with another episode of Immigration Buzz by Adnan and Shariq. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.